So what we are going to be talking about today is Governor Abbott's restrictions on voting and what he did in order to help the security of voting. So Governor Abbott stated that he was only going to have mail-in voting sites for one per county, and this outraged especially the Democrats because they believe that this was a personal attack on them being able to vote. And it was one per county regardless of the size. So like Houston, Austin, they were all one per county, which does make it pretty inconvenient. You do have further driving time, and for those that are like elderly and maybe can't drive as far, they could have been excluded in voting if they weren't able to make that drive, if it was too far out from where they live. Also, those that can't drive for various reasons or don't have anybody to take them might not have the opportunity. And so that was one major thing. Now, Governor Abbott stated that this was not, that he was not trying to infringe on anybody's right to vote, that simply he was trying to secure voting and make sure everything ran smoothly and that there was no illegal voting. And so Harris County did have 12 sites and now they only have one, so that just goes to show you how much traffic will be in that area and how many people are going to be in long lines waiting as well. Now, there were a few counties that had already taken these precautions, such as like Tarrant County and Dallas, El Paso, those areas. So many felt though that this was not a matter of security, that it was just a matter of trying to reduce the Democratic vote in order to secure the Republicans' spot. I chose this article because I believe it impacts all Texans that will be voting, even some that aren't actually voting, because if you are a child of somebody that's voting or a caretaker for somebody that wants to vote, that has to have somebody to drive them. Either way, you could still be affected, and the traffic in any area would affect anybody regardless if you were voting, if you're in that area. But I thought this would be good because this is very important with the election going on, and it is very important to be able to secure all votes and not have any illegal voting, because all that does is drag out the process and lead to discrepancy, and that is something that we don't want to have. So I do, however, understand that this poses problems with some people being able to vote, especially people in the elderly community that maybe can't drive and don't have anybody to take them to drive. I know during spikes of COVID, several of the nursing homes were shut down and were not allowing visitors. So I'm not sure how that worked out with those people being able to vote, if they were able to vote, because I'm not sure if they were able to leave to vote or not. Also, the drive times for like moms, you know, me as a mom of 2 small children, I would not want to have to drive, 30 to 40 minutes just to vote with 2 kids in the car. It's not very practical, especially if you're going from 12 sites to 1, because that would probably take your time from 10 minutes upwards to an hour. I do, however, think if you are very dedicated to voting, this will not impact you at all. And I do think that it's very important that all Texans stay up to date on the procedures and voting sites, so that this helps diminish the confusion, which is also a reason why people might not be able to vote, because they were confused about the process, or they were confused about where to go and then they weren't able to get there in time, or they went to the wrong place. So that is one thing to keep. My first question is, does the reducing of sites per county make you want to still vote? Will you still be voting in this election, or will that change your vote? My second question is, how far would you be willing to drive in order to vote? Would you just be willing to drive if it was close, or would you be willing to make maybe 40 minutes to an hour drive in order to vote? My last question is, do you believe that by lowering this down to one site, do you believe that's infringing on anybody's rights or suppressing other voters?